And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something a little bit different, something special, something amazing. Welcome back to our very first time broadcasting the Code for Giants Cup number 5. I'm, of course, Joseph VIP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and by my amazing plushies as well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a Brazilian-only tournament. I had no idea. I had very little information about this event. I had no idea that it was being held for so long. There's already been 5 iterations of this tournament, but we are here, we are back, and it has been so long. There are so many familiar faces in this event. It's been so long since we've casted a Brazilian-only tournament or a Latin American event. Fun fact, I rocked up here tonight. I rocked up here today, messaged the players, and they were all welcoming me back. They were both Shakti and Kamikaze, they're like, Papi, you're back. Oh my god. But here we go, let's just jump right in. Then we can talk about the event itself. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ocean Board, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran representing Eximius Gaming. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss, the Brazilian Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Eximius Gaming. He used to go by Nano. He is Shakti. Let's go. Fala galera, papi, fala galera. Great to see Sinisho in the chat. I'm sure Icecar is out there lurking somewhere as well, and it's great to be back. For those who are maybe newer viewers of the channel, the CranKy Ducklings, we're kind of born and raised in the Latin American StarCraft community in the early days. Fun fact, our first major event that we casted was in 2019, and it was Copa America. Back in 2019. After Copa America, we started looking for more events to cast. We became the main English caster for Battle of the Americas, which was a regional-only weekly tournament that was region-locked to the North and South Americas region. And we were also the English stream for Sentimiento Latino as well, which was a Latin American-only bi-weekly tournament. Every 2 weeks, only for Latin American players, we would be casting plenty of Sentimiento Latino. There was also Copa Hyperion, which was another bi-weekly tournament. There was El Prisma, there was La Espira, there was Amantes de StarCraft. There was a lot of Latin American StarCraft going on back in the day. They slowly dried up though, one after the other, especially with the dissolution of the Latin American region in EPT. I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day, I say back in the day, only a couple of years ago, EPT Latin America and EPT Americas were separate. They were once separate, but in recent years, they were merged together. As a result, a lot of Latin American players did retire or did stop competing. Despite initiatives to keep the region going, like it was difficult. It was difficult. You know, the regions were shrinking. A very similar thing happened to the Australian region, to the Oceanic region. Once it got merged with the rest of Asia as well, and also China in recent years. So yeah, you know, it is something that's been happening over the years, but that's why I champion and I love the fact that Cosmito has brought together this tournament, Code for Giants Cup. It is a bi-weekly Brazilian-only tournament, and plenty of Brazilian players have been embracing this, have been rocking up, have been coming back into the game and motivated once again to compete and to improve. I am all here for it. That is what we are all about. So I'm happy to embrace this. I'm happy to jump into this TVP. Let's go. Fun fact, so again, to reiterate, this is a Brazilian-only tournament. Every 2 weeks they host this event, and we will be the main English casters. We'll be here for it every single week, as often as we can at least. For now, it's going to be double gas open. Double gas into Reaper Hellion. Just a handful, 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions moving out across the map. Kamikaze back at home, settling into his 1-1-1 as we were for a fake proxy Rax here at the natural base. We do rock up at the natural. Shield battery is already ready. We have an Adept as well. Shakti is prepared both in the main and the natural, and we do cancel the Shade. Adept is in position, but we get a full scout. The Reapers are going to full scout of the main base. It is going to be a very defensive opener, robo opener here. And the Hellies, they get in. They bust into the middle line. Probes are going to be going down. 3 probes so far. Not bad. 3 probes do fall. A 4th probe as well. Oh my god, as we get even more damage done in the main base. And we're going for a Colossus drop. The Prism is out. Colossus is on the way. Okay, so we're rushing into Colossus really fast. +1. Okay, there we go. There we go. We're going into War Prism speed to be able to drop across the map. This is not seen too often in this matchup. Nina, is that you? Australia, is that indeed Australia? Some of the American Protoss players do rely on this from time to time. Great to see Shakti embracing this as well. Now, fun fact, I actually spoke about Shakti, like, unrelated to this tournament. It was this week, I brought up Nano, I brought up Shakti in a game. It was in Australia's game in SC2 Safe House, as we're going to get a couple of probe kills. I say a couple, 4 workers going down, a good amount of damage dealt here by Kamikaze back at home, settling into his bio, not into his mech. Kamikaze is known to be a bit of a mech enjoyer, but not right now. Is embracing bio, as here comes that Colossus drop. But yeah, during the SC2 Safe House, when we were casting Australia, I can't remember who, I think it was Australia versus Vindicta, but I was referring to Australia, and I was talking about his composition, how it reminded me of Nano, who is Shakti. Right? It reminded me of Shakti, the Brazilian player, and I went on a little bit of a tangent about years gone by casting Shakti, and it's great to see that he's still competing, great to see him back, and what I was talking about, oh my god, is the Prism! Takes so much damage. The juggling is real. Calm down, Bobby, calm down. The juggling is real. We do save the Colossus, but we barely trade anything for it. We get 1 Marine and 2 Heli, and still not the best trade for the Colossus. Prism has taken a lot of hits, and more Vikings are on the way. But Shakti is known for something. He's known for a certain style. We called it Nano Mech back in the day, because Shakti's ID used to be Nano. And what it referred to was a very robo-heavy composition. It looks like we're not going for that, but I'm laying this down, you know, just in case we see it later on, and I assumed it would be with these robos. But imagine if all these gateways were robos. Imagine if this guy had like 5 or 6 robos on 3 or 4 bases and was making like mass Colossus Immortal, and then eventually throwing down some Stargates. like that, like that's the kind of play. And Shakti was doing this at like the GM level, you know, like 5.6k MMR sort of thing. Which is pretty high up there. Here we can see we're warping in. You know, we invested into warp gate, we got gateways finishing up as well. We're not quite embracing that kind of style yet, but maybe in game 2, maybe in an extended series. So now Prism is gonna pull back. Colossus still looking for damage. So far this opener hasn't done much, to be honest. And we can't afford to lose it. We we can't afford to lose it. We catch the Prism, we catch the Colossus. The Cyclone's gonna be able to hunt it down, and the Colossus does fall. Massive pickoff here from Kamikaze. Oh my god. Speaking of, a bit of a Kamikaze there from Shakti again. It was so risky to stay active on the map, and we bleed out a Colossus and the Prism. Rough loss for our Protoss player. We are still building on more Colossus. We're settling into 3 bases. We are calming things down, working towards charge, working towards Archon production as well. We're getting there, but we have lost a lot of map control. We've lost a very, very valuable unit as well. And that means that Kamikaze's in the driver's seat. Is going to be moving out. Yeah, we've got some bio, we've got a handful of tanks, and we could apply pressure to this 3rd base. On top of that, looking at the upgrades, we have not researched interference matrix, so we have auto turrets and an anti-armor missile. Auto turret can be quite valuable here to help support the army. We're going for the 3rd base. Meanwhile, Shakti getting a 4th, is expanding. We are setting up, extra warping's going to be available. Archon likewise leading the charge. Oh! Order shot's going to be thrown down, and it looks like with all of these tanks, can we break through? It looks like we can. Yeah, the Zealots fall. We're getting on top of the Colossus. Overcharge is popped. With the help of the overcharge, we can hold. Yeah, Shakti will clean this up. Shuts down both tanks. We'll even catch a 3rd tank, potentially. At the same time, we're dropping into the main. Yeah, pushing this position into an overcharge was just not the play for Kamikaze. Bled out too much. And suddenly, everything is swinging in favor of Shakti. We already popped the overcharge at the 3rd. No overcharge in the main. Yeah, running out of energy. Stalkers are going down. We're getting economic damage. 5, 6, 9 probes falling. We will force the pickup. Kamikaze getting the hell out of there. Pretty good damage, but we lost 3 tanks. Quickly checking here. Yeah, we lost 3 tanks in total. That was a hefty loss for Kamikaze. Stimming on forward. It gets a Stalker. Won't get much else. And Shakti has defended. Now Shakti's on 70 probes. He's on 4 bases, has a solid economy. The army is still lacking, but hey, we have 3 Colossus, and now we can refine, or we can support the army with these warp-ins, Archons, charge lots. Shakti's army is becoming more and more terrifying as time goes on. Meanwhile, Kamikaze bled out too much, and it feels like, our Protoss player is back in control. We are back in this. We do see Shakti just spreading out pylons throughout the map, scattering pylons throughout the map to make sure we have vision of any kind of move outs. We have adepts, we have pylons. Drop play gonna have a hard time really getting across the map as well. Speaking of, we at least have a drop towards the left hand side, no pylon to spot. Kamikaze will get in, we still have the other 2 medevacs in between the bases. We can dive into a mineral line. Marines, they do drop in, we catch a couple of workers, but now we got plenty of warp ins. We react in time, the drop has to load up. And Shakti does defend. Meanwhile, back at home, what are we building up towards? Looks like we have cut factory production, which is a little bit concerning. We have a lot of Marine Marauder, but no Ghosts yet. We're getting into Vikings as we speak. No, wait, my apologies. Ghost Academy is done, but no Ghosts yet with the main army. We're getting there. Kamikaze needs a little bit more time. Meanwhile, I see +1 air attack on the way, and we see why! Stargate's Fleet Beacon, a Skytoss is coming. Skytoss is on the horizon here for Shakti. I was thinking that Shakti could most likely move out. We can reinforce, we can set up a proxy location, and we can push towards the 3rd base, or at least deny a 4th. But no, Shakti is going to be taking a longer approach instead, a more macro approach, getting up into that Skytoss. So, we spoke about, you know, this kind of more mech style that Shakti had in the past, and that's not really too applicable here, but at least approaching this game, we're sitting back. We're sitting back, we're turtling up, you know, we got vision, we got pylons, we got cannons, shield batteries. Shakti says no. He just walls up, and he's like, I'm about to max out with Skytoss, right? That's my win condition. It's understandable. Meanwhile, Kamikaze sharking around, has a lot of DPS, like there's a lot of firepower in this army, has EMP potential as well. We could jump on Shakti if he moves out on the map. The problem is that we're all moving out. Like, I feel like Kamikaze's army is reliant on Shakti being active, and as he is not, it's going to be difficult to really push into these entrenched positions with all these shield batteries. Sent out missiles on the main army. The Dorito cannons have been thrown down. Raven does fall. And Shakti is vulnerable. We have the one overcharge. And one Colossus goes down, the other under fire. Charge us from behind. Oh my god, the surround. It looks like Zelt's gonna be cleaned up. The Colossus are falling one after the other. The Vikings, they shut down the Colossus. And before we can get into Skytoss, can Kamikaze break Shakti? Keep going, Bob. Keep going. Send it. Oh, we don't have faith. We do pull back. I mean, we have more EMPs. We can take a fight. He scans, he thinks better of it. Backs off, Kamikaze is up in supply. And this is dangerous. I do think that we just barely missed an opportunity. I feel like we could have tried to keep pushing. Because we haven't, Skytoss. Now, to be fair, Kamikaze doesn't know. I believe he didn't see the carrier, and he hasn't seen the Stargates in the main, so he doesn't know he's on a timer. He doesn't know that as he backs off, he's allowing Shakti to get into such a superior army here with carriers, with Colossus, second robos on the way. This army is becoming terrifying, and Kamikaze just doesn't know what Shakti's getting away with. It does have a 4th, getting a 5th base now. Is on the way. Shakti on 83 probes. I'm waiting for like a 3rd and 4th robo. I'm hoping we can bring it back to 2021. Hoping we can as Kamikaze rotates around. Does hit the linear 5th. Does EMP the main army. Carriers are revealed. And Shakti, the shield batteries are not quite done, but we hold on nonetheless. Force Kamikaze back. Shaving off a couple of units. Nice concave here from Kamikaze. EMPs once again connecting with the Gateway army. But here come the Colossus. Colossus have arrived. We have to produce as many Vikings as possible. 3 Vikings at a time. Could do with another starport. Yeah, there we go. 2 more starports on the way. But again, this production is delayed because we didn't know we needed it. We didn't know there was Skytoss. Going for a drop instead. More carriers are amassing. Another Stargate on the way. Shakti, you can see his army supply just shoot up. And in this kind of scenario, the soup does not lie. Our EMPs are good, but again, we lost all of our Vikings without them. It's not just the Colossus anymore, now it's the carrier as well. Zelarame hitting the 3rd base. Catching Ghosts of all things. Brutal trade. Now, this drop will force a big reaction out of Shakti. He does race back home. Force the recall. We do force the recall. Army rotating over. We can focus down. Oh! Maybe one of the medevacs. No, not even. All 3 medevacs will survive. We bleed out a couple of units. But again, Kamikaze, he's buying time to build up his Viking count. And it's getting higher and higher. And hey, 3-3. It's about to finish. 3-3 is on the way. Shakti hunting down those drops, doesn't find them. Shakti has maxed out, and Kamikaze still needs a couple more, like a minute or two, to reach that point, making 5 Vikings at a time. As many as possible. Meanwhile, we're still making more Colossus. The ground army has not been too neglected here by Shakti, but again, just like in the past, we're not really warping in Stalkers or Zealots. Like, we despise gateway units. Archons are the exception. And yeah, this is the army that we were looking for. Oh, it's just so beefy. With Carrier, Colossus, Immortal, Archon. It's so thick. And we'll see if Kamikaze can deal with this. I mean, with a nice spread, with some good target firing as well. We do focus down the first Colossus. But we're on the run. We're on the run. Shakti catching a couple of hits. Got big Archon shots here on the bio. EMPs do connect. Kamikaze on the back foot. Oh. Almost gets a carrier. Almost. Massive EMPs, but do we have the DPS? Do we have the firepower? There's barely any bio left on the ground. Shakti, we're breaking through. The Vikings, they attempt to focus on as much as they can. They do get a carrier. And they get a carrier, but not much else. We'll be pulling back. Charge-Out's coming in to reinforce. Exactly what Shakti needed. Again, these ghosts are so vulnerable on the ground. They're exposed. They're on their own. Sure, we're EMPing, but that's all we're able to do. Shakti kites back, he rebuilds interceptors. Vikings, they take down the Colossus. Stalkers are coming in. The Stalkers come in to reinforce. They catch another carrier. We're down to 4, down to 3. 3 carriers left. And at the same time, the Zealots, they hit the 3rd base. 18 SCVs go down. We catch reinforcements. Kamikaze, he's in trouble. Again, his economy is in shambles. If it wasn't for that, then maybe we could try to sustain ourselves, but Shakti, his own bases have been left untouched this entire time. It looks like Shakti has done it, even without his Sky Toss, just with a gateway-based army. The Stalkers are going down one after the other. They're not having the best trades. Charge, I'll say, ran into the planetary, not into the army. So Kamikaze is barely holding on. Takes down the carrier, but Zealots, they keep rocking up. Wave after wave of Zealots. Shakti just rallying out and does break the main army. Pushing into the planetary is going to be difficult. Gonna want to avoid that. Shakti does have to retreat. But again, like, Shakti is happily mining, is on 6 bases. Is rebuilding. Has a massive bank, and yeah, there it is. GG gets called, and Shakti will take game number 1. Whew. GG. That was a game. GG, well played. Shakti, again, just taking a more defensive approach here overall. There were a couple of moments where Shakti moved out, but for the most part, he was kind of absorbing these attacks and building up towards his carriers, towards the death bull of an army, or his death bull of an army. And Kamikaze, unfortunately, just didn't recognize what was happening. If you remember, he missed the scouts of the Sky Toss. He wasn't aware that we were transitioning into mass carrier. Because of that, the starports were delayed, the Vikings were delayed. In general, we could have been a little bit more aggressive as well if we had known that Shakti was going to be vulnerable before Sky Toss. So there's a little bit less urgency for Kamikaze. And with that, GG, well played. Shakti does take a lead, but that was merely game 1. That was only game 1, Babi. Catching up with the chat. Hello, what tournament is this? Este Gustavo. No, Kura casting, it's almost 1 AM. Ah, Smooch. Kura's not a DJ. Go, Shakti, go. Yes, good to see you, Sinistro. Good to see you, Gustavo, as well. Gustavito. Hope you're doing well. Oh. Again, it is great to be back. Again, Shakti is coming in as the favorite player, but there were moments for Kamikaze. Definitely moments. And we can soon go over the brackets. Once we wrap up this series, we can go over the bracket and try to catch up on what has been going on. We'll do our best. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran representing Eximius Gaming, down in this series, but looking to fight back. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Brazilian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. His teammates also representing Eximius Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Shakti. Go. As we settle in, we do have Kamikaze going for a bit of a proxy across the map. Hello, Monsieur SCV. Rax has been thrown down, and I'm curious how committed we're going to be with this. This could just be a singular proxy Rax with a proxy Reaper, and the SCV could just head behind the mineral line and go for a bunker to deny mining time just to get an economic lead, or we could try to commit a little bit harder as well. Gases have been taken back at home, and we should be looking to transition out of this at some point. Keep an eye on Kamikaze if we embrace something crazy like a Tech Lab and Proxy Marauder. Second SCV does move out. Interesting. Probe Scout does confirm that we are missing a building. That we are missing the racks. And it could be anywhere. It could be at the natural, could be at the third base, or it could be proxied across the map. There we go. It's going to be Proxy Reaper. SCV's going to be coming in. And does the probe confirm? We spot the SCV! Yeah, big scouts, but the bunker is thrown down regardless. And can we deny this bunker? Pylon has been thrown down. That's going to be for the shield battery. Second SCV has arrived just to ensure that this is going to get up and running. A little bit more committed here from Kamikaze. Usually you do not send out a second SCV. But very nice positioning here in between these mineral patches. Just cannot be attacked. And based on the RNG, oh, we get one! One SCV goes down. But the bunker should finish. The bunker should complete. Yeah, first probe going to be going down. Shield battery has been started. But again, this is all designed to deny mining time here at the natural base. To contain our opponent onto one base economy. The probe. Ooh. We do cancel shield battery. Another probe goes down. Stalker has arrived. And this shield battery should finish up. We will eventually shut down this bunker. Eventually. Now the Stalker just focusing on the bunker itself. We can try to focus down that SCV. It's going to be on Kamikaze to save that worker. Second Reaper has arrived. Shield battery is about to finish. Is done. Oh my god. Clutch moves with the SCV. Pylon under fire. Taking a lot of damage. Oh, but we bleed out a Reaper. A bit of miscontrol here from Kamikaze. Focusing across the map. Defending against the probe. Yeah, a little bit distracted. That's 4 SCVs off the mineral line. Second Stalker has arrived. SCVs are coming back. And it looks like this bunker is going to go down. Can we get the salvage? We get to kill the SCV. And can we salvage in time? The bunker is burning. Reaper is diving into the main. And there is no salvage. We shut down a Reaper. There's one left. That is going to be the kill. Oof. Yeah, rough loss there for Kamikaze. And looking at the trades here, we got 3 probes. Not bad. 3 probes, but we also killed 3 SCVs. Killed another Reaper. And again, there was a lot of lost mine time back at home. Now we're transitioning into a CC, into a Rax. But it does feel like Kamikaze was maybe a little bit too fixated on his micro and his macro slit. Does feel like his macro was a little bit delayed back at home. And Kamikaze going to try to recover. Getting into his 3-rack setup. 1 floating back, 2 more on the way. Stalkers are moving out. And there is a tank in production. We should have enough to hold on. It's going to be close. Tank is halfway done. Cyclone is out. Oh, the Stalkers, they will deny the bunker. Bunker's going to be cancelled. Oh, can we cancel? We do. Thankfully. We cancel the bunker. We get a Reaper. Kamikaze will attempt to break out. We'll attempt to break out, and it looks like we get a couple of free shots off. Cyclone can get a Stalker. Nice control out of Shakti. Does pull away. Breaks the lock on. And Shakti does reinforce. He wants to go for the kill. Can we go for the tank? Ooh. Deny the bunker. Once again. The tank stands strong. Blink is almost done. Behind this, again, it was a Blink-based opener. Only 2 gateways, so 2-gate Blink into a 3rd. Shakti is not going all in. He's expanding, he's focusing his economy. But we dive on the tank. A bold move out of Shakti. He will get 1 tank, but this was not worth it. We bleed out so many Stalkers. That was 5 Stalkers for 1 tank. Oof. Not a worthwhile trade here for Shakti. He overextends, bleeds out a 6th Stalker as well. Papi, calm down. Ay, ay, ay. Shakti taking a lot of damage, and with that, he now loses map control. I mean, he's got a couple of Stalkers here outside the natural base, but we have taken a lot of damage already. Ay, ay, ay. Behind this, working toward charge, gateway explosion, 3rd base getting up and running. We're not taking our extra gas here at the natural. But thanks to those trades, Kamikaze's not looking too bad. He's, you know, hunkering down. We've got tanks, we've got bunkers, we've got SCVs to repair. Stim is on the way. It's going to take a while for Kamikaze to push out, but because we lost so many Stalkers, by the time we do move out, there's going to be that much left to defend. It's going to be that much less. Kamikaze does have an opportunity here. Shakti attempting to reinforce. Going down shield batteries. Still probing up. Working towards that charge. As we build up towards 3 tanks already. That's a lot of tanks, Papi. That's a lot of tanks. The eventual move out will hit like a truck. We'll see if we commit and even double down and go for like an SCV pool and go for a 2-base all-in. I am curious. We have started the starport. The starport is a sign that we're taking up a little bit further and working towards medevac production. Yeah, another rack's on the way. Oh, as Shakti takes up 4th base already. A bold move out of Shakti. Bold move. The 4th is in production. Likewise, Shakti getting to Immortal production as well. I believe we've been skipping some warp-ins just to afford the 4th base. So Shakti being a little bit greedy. Setting up pylons for job play. Speaking of, I believe medevac should be soon in production. Yes, there's that reactor. And there's that 3rd CC, so we are not going for a 2-base all-in. I mentioned before, when we saw the starport, it was like, okay, it's our first sign here of progression. Kamikaze could still try to move out, though, and try and deny the 4th. If only he knew. Kamikaze has been in the dark, hasn't seen too much. We can see that there's no splash damage for Shakti, so I actually favor Kamikaze's army. Observer gets caught. But yeah, in a head-on fight, I feel like Kamikaze can take it. The overcharge could be the game changer. Likewise, so could force fields. But without Colossus, without Storm, this mass bio can do quite well. Stalkers are forced back. 3rd base soon to be taken. Kamikaze still setting up. We do see Shakti moving out. And the tanks do siege. Behind the rugs. Pushing up this ramp is going to be difficult. And Shakti doesn't know. Okay, rotating over towards the right-hand side. Bit of an easier angle of approach. So a lot of Marines, so a lot of Bio. We stim on forward. Oh. Stim gets baited out. Widowmines are behind the army as well. Kamikaze going for a drop, and we're pushing in. No, the siege! Now is not the time. Not the best time here to one siege. We can collapse on the tanks. No medevacs. Can we lift? Okay, we lift up 2 tanks. Thankfully, 2 tanks are saved, and okay, Shakti pulls back. That's still a lot of Marines. That's a lot of DPS. Shakti looking to hunt down those tanks. At the same time, big warp in into the main base. SCVs are going down. And we don't quite catch the tanks in the end. They do get away, but another big warp in. 18 SCVs go down. We deny the 3rd base. Shakti doesn't catch the main army, but still a solid trade. Shakti pulls away with the Prism, pulls away with the main army. We're on 4 bases. And we can rebuild, we can remax. Temple Archives is done. No Storm. So just relying on Archons, Immortals, and Chargelots. This army of Shakti still feels really fragile, but we have time, we have resources. Shakti pulls back, and now Kamikaze has to make a choice. What do we have? 34 SCVs. Like, we barely have an economy. And we were denied the 3rd. I feel like we need to pull the boy. Yeah, let's go, heroes. We have to pull the boys. There's no other way about this. We're completely all in. The tank's on siege, and we're sending everything across the map. Prism is shut down. The move out is unscattered. This is the one scary thing for Shakti. He doesn't have an observer. No observer. He doesn't spot the move out. Does have a zealot on the right hand side. He spots the SCVs. He knows. The boys have been spotted. Army's getting in position. We have plenty of shield batteries at both locations. 4 shield batteries at the 4th and at the 3rd. We're ready. But we do have 3 tanks. Here we go. We dive on in. Tanks late to siege. Oh, we're getting on top of the army. Overcharge is popped. Not really helping too much, but there we go. We do pull back. Zealots got annihilated. And the tanks, they just have massive volleys on the main army. Can we get on top of them? It looks like the army's overstimmed. We break through the Marines. We get on top of the tanks, and it looks like Shakti will survive. GG gets called. Shakti takes the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations to Shakti as he will claim the series. There was a couple of tense moments where Shakti did bleed out too many Stalkers, and I was afraid he was too vulnerable at times. I feel like we missed an opportunity, maybe even pushing into the 3rd, but at the same time, we also warped into the main at the same time, and yeah, Shakti was able to pull Kamikaze apart, force the all-in, was able to defend beautifully, and yeah, just a really solid setup there from our Protoss player. GG, congratulations to Shakti. My condolences to Kamikaze. It wasn't a bad series by any means. He was holding his own for quite some time against Shakti. I would not say that there was like a big skill gap between them or anything like that. But Shakti does take it, and Kamikaze will bow out. GG, well played. GG, well played. With that, Shakti advances on into the next round. And who is waiting for him into that next round? Let's hop on over and have a look at the brackets.